Okay. It's Inane Blather, episode 134. We've been sitting here trying to figure out, how to wade through all of these different things that we're going to talk about. I just realized as I hit record, I was like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I legitimately just started this and was like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. But it's
With
just,
my life.
no, that's the existential stuff is long past. There's no time. Ain't nobody got time for that anymore. Yeah. Nobody cares. But it's Inane Blather, where we blather inanely. Happy to see everyone again. As I'm sure you're happy to see us. Yada, yada, yada. The show where we say quite often.
Classic us.
But where we also say
capitalism is bad.
And where we often, very quickly and easily, refer to ourselves as
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
Man, that was a loud one.
We
I should have
say
been
it
messing
all
around with
the
this.
time.
I don't actually call myself a jerk, though.
I do.
Usually.
I call you a jerk. No.
Well, I knew that.
But only to your
women
face.
here.
I would never do that behind your back. It's only to your face.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
For sure, bro.
And it's okay that you hate women to their face because you do
Yeah.
it to their
No,
face.
I hate woman.
I hate
you're
woman.
literally the
It's
only
just me.
one. Literally
Good to know.
the only one. That's what, my therapist is very much in support of this show and in support of having you on, because it's kind of like, me confronting the things that are really kind of stumbling blocks to my happiness. And trying
Danae.
to process it and stuff like that. I was like, I'm trying.
Wow.
I'm trying every week. And they say, I was
been
listening.
20
but,
years, Doug.
boy, there's a lot to
Can't get
unpack
over
there. Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
All right. Well,
It's been a while.
this has been fun. I'm out.
Yeah, no, now you're the new host. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I have to quit. No. But so we it's funny, we skipped a week, but I had to catch up on posting episodes anyway. I'm not even sure how these have been going out and what sort of chronology we're working with here. But happy late birthday to Danae, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
And happy Pi Day to all. Belatedly, of course.
Belated Pi Day, that's an important one. Oh boy.
I mean, it's the same day.
Because
So.
Lord knows, like I said, we're not just going to celebrate Women's History Month.
Yeah, we're also celebrating
Doug's
my
like, it includes
birthday
Danae, so
Yeah, because
Pi
Danae's
Day.
involved. So,
and the beginning of spring.
yeah.
So
Beginning of spring. It's
So
been
happy
fantastic
spring.
here. Went to Seattle over the weekend and saw Natalie. Congratulations. Congratulations to Natalie. Congratulations all around. No, on an awesome jazz performance right there in Seattle at the Royal Room. Everyone thought it was good, despite the fact that.
I
Natalie
hope I'm
hates
gonna get
non-binary
to see
people.
like a
But
right that. But I really want to see a recording if there's one available.
I recorded the entire first song. I didn't want to record the whole set because I wanted to watch it.
You wanted to be
Doug
there.
was dancing
That's
with
fair.
Kelsey.
And then Kelsey started,
Busy dancing.
dancing with me, so that made it pretty difficult. It would have been a pretty horrible video, but it was a fun time. That's for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll say it was such a great performance that literally no one did this. I couldn't believe it. I've never done something on a stage
Incredible.
with that 0% booing. It was incredible. Like, I don't know how you do it.
0%, yeah.
You put something in their drinks or what? What do you do? Like, I'm asking. No.
It's like a Make-A-Wish sort of situation.
Yeah, everyone was just hired actors there. No, and you had a good group of friends there too. That was really fun. We all hung out afterwards. Shout out to an Inane Blather listener. Annabelle was
got
there.
recognized.
Yeah, making me feel like a celebrity. But
And Dad was all like, "No pictures, okay?" And was like such an asshole.
Yeah.
Like he was like,
Yeah.
"Get
Gosh,
off, get off my back already." God, I can't go
And then
anywhere.
she was like, Chapel? Is that you?
"Yeah,
Chapel Roan? Sorry.
Oh. Is she like that?
Veterans.
Yeah, but we love her anyway.
Well, she hates the paparazzi and stuff, and they're so horrible. I mean, it's so understandable
I
too.
don't care about anyone hating the paparazzi at all. I feel
Well,
like
she
that's
doesn't.
Totally
she doesn't take
righteous.
photos with friends with fans anymore.
Oh, really?
But it was because they were getting really obnoxious.
Oh,
so.
sure. I mean, it's
I
got to
feel
be
like
This
so.
is like old
Celebrity
This is old news,
so
though, guys.
difficult.
This was like last summer
I
that this
don't
came
get
out.
it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All I knew was when she was talking to that one guy on the red carpet, but I didn't know any of the other stuff. But,
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I
she.
Oh.
She basically like went on the internet, was like, "Hey guys, like it's really weird. Like I need you guys to calm down. This is really new to me.
It is kind of
It's
funny
really-
too.
It feels very unsafe."
Just to
And people were like, "Oh my god, we made you famous. How
like-
how ungrateful."
okay.
we all wrote your music.
So
and
make me
performed it for
unfamous
you.
then by not taking pictures with me, I guess. It's like, what do you want? You know, that's what I don't get. It's like the celebrity that comes from it. It's like, well, they put themselves out there. And so often it's like, do they? I don't know. It's like, you have like,
it's like
you have
when-
like agents and investors and record labels to answer to and stuff like that. You have to do this. It's your job. It's your job. It's like going up to someone who's getting yelled at a customer service counter and being like, "Well, you chose this job, man. You put yourself out there. You're gonna get yelled at." It's like, fuck you. It's like it's they're doing their job. So if you're being a prick, or if you're being weird, or doing something like with celebrities where you take 1 second, one step back and just look at this in kind of like an overview in an objective manner and be like, yeah, that is really fucking weird how we do this.
Yeah. So
It's
like,
like-
could you not be like that, Doug?
Yeah.
Because that's weird. Like, stop.
and it's only like been talked about in like Hotel California much, but like we see stars like having a hard time with fame. Like that's like kind of like that's a cliche that we know that celebrities like it's really hard to be famous because of it's like you're like
You
rich
lose
and
all
stuff.
And then it
anonymity.
snowballs, too.
All anonymity
Totally,
is
people
gone.
like all up in your business and everything, and like Anderson
Can't go
.Paak,
anywhere.
One of his
Yeah.
fuck fame. It killed all my favorite entertainers.
Yeah.
like. And then, or it doesn't kill them, and it turns them into Kanye. You know,
Oh.
they become so famous that they're
Yeah.
like the worst person imaginable if they don't fucking kill themselves. Then it's
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna
you
say,
know,
that-
it's not a good.
that's all
thing
Chappell
if
Roan
they
needs to
aren't-
do.
Don't stay private.
Is develop like a nitrous addiction and she'll be fine. You know, then people won't want to take their pictures with her.
Yeah, like you look like shit.
Yeah, you're being real. You're being weird, not me, the person wanting a photo with this stranger because of celebrity culture. You know, but it just made me think. I was like, man, it's like that old meme where it was like, where it was like, I was like, yeah, no pictures. No, I didn't say that, of course, but it was kind of funny, you know, that it was the first and only time that would ever happen. But that old meme, the electrical inference, do you know that one? I've seen it applied to so many different celebrities and stuff. First time I came across the meme, the copy pasta is what it is, was Steve Blake when he was playing for the Lakers when they were a really bad team. So it was really funny. But
I don't know who that is.
but yeah, exactly. It made it even funnier. But the original is about Flying Lotus, I think. But it would just be funny. It's like, yeah, after I got recognized, someone already posted, I saw Doug from the Inane Blather podcast at a grocery store in Los Angeles yesterday. I told him how cool it was to meet him in person, but I didn't want to be a douche and bother him and ask him for photos or anything. He said, "Oh, like you're doing now?" I was taken aback, and all I could say was, "Huh?" But he kept cutting me off and going, "Huh? Huh? Huh?" and closing his hand shut in front of my face. I walked away and continued with my shopping, and I heard him chuckle as I walked off. When I came back to pay for my stuff up front, I saw him trying to walk out the doors with like 15 Milky Ways in his hands without paying. The girl at the counter was very nice about it and professional and was like, "Sir, you need to pay for those first." At first, he kept pretending to be tired and not hear her, but eventually turned back around and brought them to the counter. When she took one of the bars and started scanning it multiple times, he stopped her and told her to scan them each individually, quote, "to prevent any electrical interference," and then turned around and winked at me. I don't even think that's a word. After she scanned each bar and put them in a bag and started to say the price, he kept interrupting her by yawning really loudly. I don't know, that's just like an old copy pasta that I think is really funny. Is
that like a Tumblr post or something?
It's 4chan back in the day, yeah. So, but
where would that
I saw it
even
on
be
Reddit.
living?
I saw it on Reddit, and
Right,
it would come
right.
up on Reddit. Yeah, it was like, yeah. And at first I read it on there.
You read it
because it was
on
the
Reddit,
first
right?
time coming across this. And they're like, "Yeah, I saw Steve Blake in a grocery store in Los Angeles yesterday." I told him how cool it was. I was like, "Oh," and you start reading, and there's like, "Oh no, this is like a joke. Like this is really funny." And just imagining like any sort of celebrity figure doing that, just like walking out with a bunch of Milky Way bars and like yawning in people's faces and being so ridiculously douchey. But some of them are like, I mean, Chappell Roan can be, people can do whatever they want with their personal space, but when it's like, who was it, the creator of The Sopranos? I think I sent that group chat with you and Umberto, Natalie, right? Or did I just send it to Umberto? But like, he is notably like an asshole about it. If you bring up like, "Wow, The Sopranos is like, I love the show. I've seen it like multiple times. One of the greatest. Just a great job. You know, I'm a big fan." He's like known to be a complete fucking dick about it. There's a story about someone who just said that, not even completely fanning out because they didn't want to be. You know, you don't want to be weird, because he sat next to him on a plane. And he brought it up, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I was a big fan. It was great. It was really, really formative for a lot of people. A really fantastic piece of media." And he like literally let it stew, and then came back. He's like, "You know what?" He's like, "People need to stop with this," and like started going off and got in kind of like an argument with the guy where he's like, "Wow, well, I mean, sorry, but people really find it meaningful. There's a lot to this show. It's very layered. It's one of the greatest television shows of all time, if not the best." And like, oh my God, there's something to it that really got to his head, and he does not appreciate it. And he's a complete asshole about it. So, what's his name?
Because he thinks
David
he's better
Chase?
and smarter than everyone else.
Or
That's
maybe
why.
he thinks
Because
that his
he's a-
other stuff should be better, and he's like, "Why The Sopranos? Everyone talks to me about The Sopranos." "Oh no, you made like the greatest television show ever, but you want to." It's like an actor that won an Oscar. They're like, "But I want to talk about my band." Man, shut up.
Yeah, it's because he's an asshole.
Yeah,
That's why.
that's
Because
why.
he thinks he's smarter than everybody, and everybody's stupid because they like The Sopranos. Because it's like, "Oh yeah, that's just like some bullshit work that I did," and it's like, yeah, that's why no one knows what else you did, because
Yeah.
it was all so good, you know, like you just, or you know, maybe he was like, maybe whatever creator, there's a lot of people that go into a team that makes a television show what it is. And I will say The Sopranos, they really whiffed it on the soundtrack, I would say. So that's what I would tell him if I met him. I hated the soundtrack of The Sopranos, just so you know. That's what I took from it.
By the way, I hate Journey. No.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Sometimes.
too like, that's too like lyric heavy when it's like all these shots. I'm like, wrong choice, I would say. But yeah, he's an asshole. He thinks he's
Yeah, you can
smarter
still
than people.
critique
He's
things.
like,
Maybe he
I
would
wonder if it's
welcome something
because-
like that. Be like, "Thank you for some
Yeah. I would
criticism
say.
instead." You know?
Like,
Maybe it was
I
because
hated
it
it.
Or
was
if
so
he'd be like an
popular
asshole.
too.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
if you're an artist who can never live up to your greatest thing, and you know it,
Or-
and you're being told
well,
that all the time, Like that was the greatest.
like,
hey, I
It's like,
still
yeah,
write stuff.
yeah, must be so hard to be you.
Yeah, exactly.
if you're like an artist and then like all of a sudden your masterpiece becomes like the most mainstream like piece of media in like, you know, the last 30 years, I can imagine that it would be like, okay, let's stop talking about this already. But
Yeah.
also like, get a
well, you were
life,
writing it for
dude.
HBO. He already had an HBO show. He knew what he was doing. You know, he already
Yeah.
did Homicide: Life on the Street, right, or something. Or no, was
Yeah,
that like
see,
The
exactly.
Wire? Or,
He did what?
No,
He
that's
did
the
Who
guy who
Cares?
did The
You made this-
Wire. I think
He did The
The Wire.
Sopranos, and that's all literally anybody's ever going to care
Yeah,
about.
I already
so just
got
like,
him mixed up with someone else.
yeah, so just like, you know, just like take
I
a
don't even know
compliment.
who it is we're talking about, to be honest.
Yeah. Creator.
I wouldn't be able to
Sopranos.
recognize him. That's for fucking
Right,
sure.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's whatever. It just seems like he's probably kind of just like an arrogant asshole. Because you know what? Why don't people just get over that? And it's like, okay, you could have just said thanks and then not
Yeah.
talk to me, or like I'm not really in the mood, you know,
Just like
to talk.
hold me
Thanks, though.
hostage on a plane. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
when someone's like, wow, like something that you did was like really meaningful to me. And I'm sure that celebrities get it all the time. And, you know, they talk to a lot of people, and it is draining to be around people and to be. I mean, I just had a jazz performance, and so I know pretty
Yeah.
much exactly what the creator of Sopranos feels like. But
well, you had a
like,
stellar jazz performance that's up there
Yeah,
in the
I did have
annals
the
of
solo in
history.
the first song.
So
But,
you have to know how to deal with it.
you know, people saying like, "Oh, great job" or whatever, like afterwards, like, "Oh, saw you" or whatever, and it's like, "Yeah, thank you." You know, of
Thanks.
course, it's like
You just go back-
incredibly flattering. But I can imagine people like running up to you, screaming, crying, being like, "Oh my God, you changed my life." It'd be like, okay, like
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Don't put
glad,
that on me.
but it can be a little bit intense, like for people to be
Just
like how they are,
emotionally
you know?
vomit all over you.
Yeah, like it can just be a lot, I'm sure.
Emotional
And people
labor.
can be in bad moods, of course. That's allowed. Everyone's been in a bad mood and snapped at people that, upon retrospect,
I
are probably
haven't.
like,
No.
I wish I kind of wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and good
But if
people
it's like
think
a
about
continual-
that for weeks, by the way.
never forget it. But I just feel like he probably is just like kind of arrogant, and I think that kind of
True.
comes with the territory of being like really good at something too.
Sure.
Is like you have kind of an ego, and like your vision and all that kind of stuff is going to be like you push for it, and that takes like a certain type of like confidence or personality or ego or whatever it takes. Not that they're wrong, you know, to
Oh.
have this kind of like, no, I know it's right, but you know, a man that wrote a show about an asshole guy named Tony Soprano, I think to be able to like be kind of like getting like this full picture of this person, I don't know, you probably have some of these traits in yourself, and I wouldn't say Tony's exactly a good guy.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I love him, but
it's just
you know,
weird to come back to. I found that original Reddit post from like the Sopranos subreddit, but he's like, I've been hesitant to post about this because I didn't want to ruin the idea of Chase and the Sopranos for anyone. And by the way, and it's like, and you mentioned, it's not like people are coming up to David Chase and be like, "Oh my God, you're the best." It's like you said, who's gonna recognize David Chase unless
Some
you
bald
saw him
guy?
on late night or someone's like, "Oh my God, yeah, that's right. He's the guy who created the Sopranos. He's great, showrunner and writer or something." But let's see. I'm not one of those crazed people that attack celebrities of any kind. He was on a flight to Vermont, seated next to David Chase. I said hello first, actually, and expressed how I'm sure he hears it every day, but I'm a gigantic fan of the show. I rank it as the best series of all time. He reluctantly shook my hand and he said, "Thanks, kid," and then went back to reading his book. About 35 minutes later, he puts down the book, taps my arm, and asks, "So what makes you such a fan of the show?" And it's like, surprised that he bothered to ask. I give him the Reader's Digest version as to what I love about the show. He shook his head and immediately said, "I just think you guys got to get over it. The show is nearly 30 years old now. Jim is dead, and I can't for the life of me understand the continued obsession besides general liking of the show." And it's like, to really like,
It's like I didn't name my son Tony Soprano, motherfucker. I'm not obsessed.
down.
It's just, do you have a favorite movie, bitch? Like, what? I can't have a favorite movie or a favorite show?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Like, it's because he didn't do as much as he wishes he did. Because who's Jim? The guy, the other
James
creator of it?
Gandolfini. No, James Gandolfini.
That's why. You know
Yeah,
why? Because it
that's-
was really James Gandolfini that brought it to life, and he's just all bitter and petty and jealous about it. That it's like, he probably doesn't get it a lot. He's like, finally someone recognized me, and they're probably just thinking about James Gandolfini.
Yeah. So he even says, in disbelief, I told him respectfully disagree. People love the show. There's fan pages, yada, yada. Oh, yeah. And he said when there's fan pages, because people still love the show, and there's Reddit groups, he said, sounds like you and those other people need some professional help. I simply looked at him and said, wow, I guess it's true. Don't meet your heroes, huh? He never answered and clammed up for the remainder of the flight. As we were deboarding the plane, he left me with the final message of, do yourself a favor and stop watching the show, is what he told this guy. I started to walk off the plane and just shook my head, saying, what an asshole. This was some months ago. I still cannot fathom that this is how he'd treat any fan of his work. Nothing worse than a self-loathing millionaire that enjoys chastising fans of his own work. Even if those were his feelings, he should have just ended the whole thing with the, thanks, kid, that he initially said to me. It's like, yeah, exactly. Like, he really...
He's just literally being an asshole. He said you need professional help because you like this TV show that is widely regarded as one of the best TV shows of all time.
Well, you think if you ran into Orson Welles, you're not supposed to tell him, Citizen Kane was fantastic. And he'd be like, get over it.
Man, what a little bitch. What a little bitch, honestly. Like, do yourself a favor, and it's like,
stop
why?
watching the show.
How about, can you just tell me everything you hate about that show so maybe I can hate it too? Maybe you can help me get over it, Dr. Therapy.
Yeah, you wrote the show about getting professional help. It's like, maybe that's why, that stuck with him, because probably many of those fan pages, theories, things getting into The Sopranos are about how bad some of the therapy is on there. So probably, I don't know. I'm not certified in anything, but it's just kind of funny. Sometimes it's like, man, psychiatry in the 90s and 2000s, huh?
Who could possibly be a good therapist to Tony Soprano?
And that's part of the
Literally
drama.
Nobody could be.
Yeah.
That's like it's not possible. Melfi's just like a person. She's fine. She's great. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's like whatever she fucks up, he's a murderer. Fuck that guy.
She's in there with a multiple time murderer and a leader of a crime syndicate. It's like, what are you? And in the words of Tony Soprano to Melfi,
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Mm-hmm. But either way, to David Chase, he just thinks the show is like
that was. And I don't say this lightly, worse than 100 September 11th.
I guess. So, let's, Danae is very bored because obviously she has not watched The Sopranos, which is okay.
I'm not bored. I love listening to you guys. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
But if you haven't, maybe you should watch The Sopranos no matter what David Chase says, and even though the show's old, and Natalie has critiques about the soundtrack or some bullshit like that, whatever. But no, I totally get it.
A lot of things get
some
the
things are
soundtrack
very
wrong.
dated and stuff too. But it's fantastic.
I haven't seen it, but the way that you said that there's like lyric heavy, I wonder if that's just like the CW era of like TV.
Yeah, it is.
Because remember, like
early to mid 2000s.
They still do this. They still do this where it's like the most over the like just on the nose
like
lyrics you could possibly have for every scene.
On the nose and just like really like
indie
forward
pop.
in it. It's like, shut up. This is film. You're supposed to be showing me, not fucking telling me. Like the soundtrack is supposed to be, like a part of it. Obviously, that's why there are awards for like the music that goes along with the creation. But some of it, and I just didn't like the guy, whoever does the singing. I just didn't really like his voice in it. it really was
Oh,
I
like,
wonder
same
what's really
person?
sticking out to you.
For all of it?
I've only seen the first 2 seasons, but and some of the third, but just like kind of like a raspy kind of voice, a male singer that was just like, I'm like,
I think that kind of happened in
this
The
is,
Wire
like,
too. It really kind
out
of
of the like scene. It doesn't even make any sense. I'm like, Tony wouldn't even listen to this kind of music. You know, it's like doesn't make any sense to me at all.
You don't know.
I don't know. That show Arcane. Compared to when I liked it a lot, it's like an animated
But-
show. It's
So
like fun
good.
or whatever.
I love
That's a-
Imagine Dragons is the
That's a
thing, and
pretty-
honestly, we would
It's a pretty
dunk
common
and
refrain.
goof on that because that was some of the stuff was like they're like literally saying what's happening in this song right now.
Yeah.
And Bertrand I would always go, "I'm gonna get my sword and I'm gonna walk over there," and like it just was like a little bit cringe. But I liked the show a lot. But
Yeah.
I was like, they did it.
Yeah.
They had
that
some sort
was
of
a
deal with
weird-
Imagine Dragons, and I was like, this could have been really like a top tier, like really, really good show if it
Yeah.
wasn't for the soundtrack.
Yeah, the fact that they
Frankly.
like did that for the second season too, I was like, what a choice.
It was
What
a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We heard
And,
your complaints and we don't care.
Yeah.
No,
And we're kind of nerds.
I've only seen like the first 2 episodes of that, and it's still, but going in, I'd already seen all the Twitter arguments where people were like, just get over it. Even if you don't like Imagine Dragons, like it's just a small part of the show. You're such a snob, you know, if this is a thing for you. And it's like, well, they're making it part of the show. You know,
I can
it's
still like it, and I could say that
dislike
they could have
things if
done
I
something
don't like
different.
it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree.
But
And also, Imagine Dragons fucking sucks.
Yeah.
No offense, but like, not
Hey,
for some kind of
got
like
a lot of fans,
like the
man.
drama
Have
in
you
that
ever
show.
seen
is, like-
the guy performing though?
Is he hot?
He is ridiculous.
Is he radioactive?
really? He's radioactive
like
hot.
there's like I've seen thirst videos of him. He just like ripped, sweaty,
Shirtless all the time. Yeah.
shirtless, like just
I think maybe I have.
It's like-
very hot.
It's like that.
And I'm like, I hate that band, but I would look at him for sure.
It's like
so
when we were talking about the Grammys and stuff, and there was that guy, I saw him perform that song, and he had the leisure suit, and he did the flip off of the piano, and he's
yeah,
saying, he's
whoever
like,
that
look,
fucking guy was.
just total smoke show and stuff. I was like, man, it's too bad that this song fucking sucks. I hate this. I've heard it so many times. It's like on
And I
the
was
like
like,
the
I've
top
never heard
40.
this song.
Yeah, because it's top 40 stuff. It's like, so yeah, my daughter likes this song. I've heard it on the satellite radio. It's like, ugh. I think I've heard it like in Walmart, you know. And it's like, I've heard it enough. It's like, but damn, good for him.
Performer.
You get to do what you're going to do. So let's see here. We really just haven't been
Come on!
using any of this. I say we, even though I'm just constantly adding in sound drops, you know. But
Everybody's telling
should
us
we
to
just go
stop
through,
doing
like,
what we're trying to do.
what?
do we need to just do like a countdown of all the bullshit that's happened in the last 2 weeks?
Okay, that would be great.
Because I feel like it's
Oh, you
a
mean
very
like in
long
general
list.
or in our lives? I think people care about our lives.
No one cares about our lives.
That's, I mean, what, you think people are coming to us for news?
No.
Analysis? Anal ISIS? That's the name of my
Definitely
band.
not that one.
Because
I heard that
instead,
if you
I just have a note that says British titties, aka Britties. Get that out of the way. But what were you saying, Natalie?
that reminds me of my friend Brittany's titties, which are
Some good Britties?
oh man, the best.
Well, shout out to Brittany's Britties. So
She would love that too.
good.
Brittany Danielle. She's actually
Oh,
she's a musician.
The
She was just on
musician. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to her. She's
tour.
incredibly hot.
She's
And a great
she's an
musician.
absolute smoke
Yeah.
show, absolute goddess,
Yeah.
love of my life. She's
And that,
amazing.
see, you can be the smoke show and make good music too. You know, Look at that.
Yeah.
You don't have to make Imagine
Wrote a song about
Dragons.
me.
True.
Yeah. Well, I heard that you'll be labeled as a domestic terrorist if you don't buy a Tesla. So that's the news of the past 2 weeks.
Oh, we've talked about
But
Tesla so much, but it keeps coming up. It's like
I
this
watched
guy's
the
in
videos
charge of
of
everything.
them like pulling the panels off of the sides of the Cybertrucks.
Yeah, they
That
all
was
got
fun to me.
recalled.
All of the
That's
glue just.
That was like I sent it was like Danny DeVito in Matilda. You know, he's just like putting super glue. He's like
Sawdust
used
in
car
the-
salesman.
in
He's
the
like, you just put a
transmission
little
and-
glue on here.
Yes, that's wow. That's a
Cybertrucks.
good point, man. Yeah, just the fact that that's even an issue where it's like, well, you know, I mean, it happens. I see, you know, Tesla defenders, not Tesla defenders, Cybertruck defenders, but just like, you know, hey, cars have recalls. Almost all of them do, which is mostly true.
Like
Not
the entire fleet.
but yeah, not the entire fleet and not as many as a Cybertruck. But also it's like, but what's the recall for? They're gluing parts on these things? Like, what the like, because you have to have it look this way. Because Elon wanted this ugly ass truck and you had to work backwards from there. So they had to engineer something to make it look like this truck. And that's why it sucks so bad. That's why they have to have, why it has bad visibility. So it has to have all these cameras. And that's all another part of this huge computer system. That's why it has the unibody weird design that it has, which is why the hitches rip off the fucking trucks when they're hauling stuff and they hit a pothole. They stink because they don't have a regular car frame. That's why they have panels glued on.
I saw a guy doing a comparison video on Ford F-150s and Cybertrucks, and basically he was just like tearing up the Cybertruck, but like he went up to the Cybertruck and literally used his body weight with his shoulder to like pry the mirrors off of the Cybertruck. And then he went to like the Ford F-150 and he was like putting his whole body weight, jumping down on the mirror. It was
mirrors
not
are
moving.
important.
Like,
It's a pillar,
so funny.
part
I
of
was
the
like,
door.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, well, they have cameras. You know, it's funny. I saw one on Twitter where, you know, oh, this gal got caught, you know, coming up to a Cybertruck and she just put her bare ass on it, which was great. And like, they're like, God, these leftists are disgusting and stuff. And half these people are just like, gosh, it's like they don't even get it. They don't understand that the Cybertruck is surrounded with cameras. It's like, I'm pretty sure they know that. People know that. It's, of course, there's cameras all over
It's
it.
like, but track them down. Like, find them. But
Yeah.
You're not going to.
It's
There's like a random person that saw
yeah,
you.
what, you're going to get that job of just, trying to ask all these women that were in the area, can we see your ass? So we can compare it to, like,
my God.
Cinderella.
Can we get an ass print, please?
Yeah.
Ass sipper.
If the ass
Slipper
fits,
instead of
the
a
ass
glass slipper.
slipper.
I will say that the only thing that has stopped me from like doing something to Cybertrucks when I see them is I'm like, the cameras. I know that there's cameras.
Yeah.
Like
Just
I
put on a
saw one in the
mask.
Costco parking lot the other day and I was like,
Well, I have
and then
a
I was like,
plan.
I don't want to lose my membership because I love Costco.
Yeah,
And
I'd worry
then
about
two,
Costco's
I'm like,
cameras, not the Cybertrucks.
yeah, that, yeah. But I want to know, I'm sure someone has like gone out of the way to like post like where the cameras are located on Cybertrucks,
That's
but
a
it
good
would be really
point.
nice if we could distribute that.
But
They do have
if you
like
just
5
wear a
exterior
mask and a
cameras or
hat,
something.
it would be so hard for them to find who it was. It would be like, it's just like a random person.
Yeah.
Like, and then it'd be like,
And
prove
what-
that I was there.
It's like, and
luck.
what?
But
Who's gonna
I
do
thought
this?
that-
The police? Well,
I thought
yeah, because
that
they
when I was
really
in
get
high
in there
school
and
and I was
investigate.
walking by a red truck. Okay.
And you got
was
caught.
Yeah,
I
you were
got
wearing a mask.
caught.
You were very well known. There was only so many hundred people there.
Yeah.
Everybody knew who you
Well,
were.
if you're in a
so-
public feud
was
with this
during
Cybertruck owner, then be
class.
careful.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, what I've decided I'm going to do, because assault is illegal and like destroying property is definitely illegal. You know what's not illegal is like sneezing really hard and like having your spit just like go
Sneeze on
everywhere.
'em.
Like really, like really going like and like really sneezing.
Yeah.
Like so that's what I've been kind of practicing.
Spitting on
actually.
someone is assault.
What
I mean,
if I
it's
like
all about
had
intention.
like my dog's poop in my hand and I accidentally tripped
And you were like,
and you
Whoa!
trip, and then it gets caught on camera. You're like, "What are you gonna do? What you
I'm
want to
so
put?"
sorry.
It looks
I
pretty
lost
funny,
my
but
footing.
you're the one with shit on your car.
I accidentally.
I'd be like, I'm so embarrassed for you. You know?
Yeah, I'm so embarrassed that you drive a Cybertruck. No.
I feel like there's a lot of ways to do it like that, where it's like, what are they gonna, you know? And
What are
you
you
wear a
gonna do?
mask, you wear a ball cap. Man, nobody knows who you fucking are. Put on some sunglasses. It's like you don't even exist.
You gotta
You
wear
know?
the whatever city you're in. You gotta wear the uniform.
Mm-hmm.
The typical, you know,
Park across
Seattle's
the
gonna
street
be
or
like-
something. You know,
Patagonia vest. You know.
Yeah.
you're just like a rando. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Red
Patagonia,
MAGA hat.
nah, something from
Yeah,
REI.
wear a MAGA hat.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
really throw them
That's
off.
a good idea.
There you go. MAGA
People are
hat.
like,
don't
why
think
would
we're
I have a
doing it-
MAGA hat?
These
Yeah.
colors
I don't think we're doing
run
enough
t-shirt.
guerrilla warfare in that way.
Might as well
Three
do it
people
now.
have been charged with federally charged with domestic terrorism because of like setting Teslas on fire and stuff. So it's
I
not just
was
like
gonna-
destruction of property that people are looking at. It's federal
domestic
charges.
terrorism.
Yeah, it's so fucking
Yes,
stupid.
because
So
It's
I
like,
feel
so are
like-
you admitting that he's like in the government and in charge, or
That's
what?
what I'm saying. It's like, so does he have like still a vested interest in this company, or like isn't that kind of like not supposed to be happening? Like, is Tesla part of the government? Because isn't that supposed to be like sort of tied to this, or like what is his whole deal then? Or why can't it just be property damage? Why is this terrorism?
Yeah.
People get their shit rocked all the time, you know.
So
Yeah,
people have been charged, though? I've been wondering.
Yeah,
I haven't really
that's-
been looking into it because I've been wondering what percentage of these Tesla like dealerships with burning Cybertrucks, what percentage of these have just been set by the owners because they
I just
can't
read something about it.
offload these fucking vehicles because you can't sell them anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, 'cause
well,
they're
oh no,
insurance,
leftists
yeah.
got to my lot. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have to collect insurance money on all this destroyed merchandise. It's like, because if you're, I mean, we can all have fun smearing shit on people's windshields or whatever, you know, but it's like, I just don't understand, like, it's not the same as firebombing a Walmart. Like, just burning up these vehicles, it's like, you know, you got to think about where it's going from there. Like, it's only going to show that it's like, yep, the leftists are dangerous. We're already kidnapping people in public with zero charges. Everyone can see it. So be careful doing something like that. It better be a little bit more meaningful, in my opinion.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's a stupid bitch, obviously. She's a stupid blonde bitch. She announced
she's
federal
an
charges.
SBB.
Federal charges
I'll cut
for 3
your throat. I'll
defendants
come to your house and kill your children.
That's not the one I wanted, but
who
anyway.
were allegedly responsible for recent attacks and vandalism. She said, the days of committing crimes without consequence have ended. Let this be a warning. If you join this wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, the Department of Justice will put you behind bars. And this charge, you can go to prison for up to 20 years.
Sure.
With this charge of domestic terrorism. So, yeah. I mean, I did see some stuff that they were calling them Democrats, even though that was a Fox News article. It was like, but the political leanings of this person is not known. So even like they're just straight up saying it's Dem. But someone was armed with an AR-15. You know, there's like some Molotov cocktails going on. This is awesome, obviously. I do condone this.
I mean, there was that one
right,
guy with
yeah.
the wild political views that blew up his own Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower.
Yeah, I think that was mostly PTSD.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like you talk about where these. I mean, not that it's linked because of the Cybertruck, but it just reminds me. It was like, you know, you can't just assume these things always.
Yeah.
In terms,
I
of
think it's
political
time
leanings.
for us. Yeah, I think it's time for us to take a note. I feel like I mentioned this last week or 2 weeks ago. But like, why aren't we being the Antifa that they were talking about at January 6th?
Like violent?
Because, well, okay, so January 6th
Antifa
happens,
is supposed
and
to be
it's
a
all a
response.
bunch of... What?
Because Antifa is a response to
I know.
fascism on the
So what I'm
ground.
saying is, because when January 6th happened, they're like, oh, this is just Antifa, even though we know it was a bunch of
yeah.
MAGA people,
Or it was a
right?
bunch of feds,
so what if
yeah.
it actually was a bunch of leftists dressed as MAGA people? What if
Yeah.
we started doing that?
That'd be sick.
Yeah. That's like,
What if
they
we
already
started
think, I get you.
co-opting?
I get you. Sure. Yeah, just say, you know what? We're MAGA, but we're fed up with this fucking Elon guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you-
Okay.
like,
And
Okay.
I don't think a lot of these people are smart enough to put
yeah.
two and two together. If there was enough of us saying, you know, whatever, da, 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 we're wearing all of the red hats, we're God-fearing Christian people.
Yeah, combined
we're
with
blue-blooded Americans.
social media too. Flood
Exactly.
the market with these
We
fake
start to
profiles. So
shift-
easy to get blue checks.
We just start to shift the right narrative over to the left.
So like
Slowly.
literally just do our own psyop, you know?
Yes,
It's like the
that's what
CIA,
I'm saying.
the FBI is always trying to do this. We're gonna cut them
why
out.
aren't we doing that?
Yeah. Because
We gotta fight fire with fire.
because leftists can't even order a pizza on the phone without crying.
Without
like we were saying.
without being like, is it vegan or not?
No.
can't even put on a freaking sweater without being overstimulated, and they're gonna start the revolution.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, but that is a good another good path though. That's a good point.
Just a thought.
Disinformation like that.
Oh yeah.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about
Like never know your next move.
yesterday. Hassan was watching something, and Michael Moore was on MSNBC, and Michael Moore was making these great points. And just like using his time to bring it back to what's his name, Khalil. Every time,
Mahmoud.
yeah, and use his time for that, even when the MSNBC guy would kind of cut him off here and there. And then he just totally just libs out and starts talking about January 6th for way too long. These people overturned the election and blah, 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 and they're seditionists and traitors. It's like, for one thing, it's too late. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, too, honestly, the way that it's all settled for me, at least, January 6th rioters, I don't know. I don't hold as much against them by any means. To be honest, these are people that the biggest problem is the disinformation that got them to do this stupid thing. Because it's like, you know what? If you believed that the election was being stolen and electoral fraud was happening right in front of you, they went and they stormed the fucking Capitol. It's
They
honestly
actually did something.
Yeah.
They did something about it.
That's like how a Planned Parenthood got a bomb because people think that babies are being murdered. Because you know what the thing is, though? This reminds me of this book I just read. I want to say it's like you can feel bad for them. But you know what?
Well, the useful
They
idiots.
they do what they do. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter the intention. Their impact that's the fact.
Correct.
It doesn't matter how you got to the point. It doesn't matter. You know, in this book I just read, oh man, it was really good. I would really recommend it. Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. It really takes a point where it's like white supremacist or white people. It doesn't really matter if you feel bad about having this privilege. This is not exactly what it's about, but that it's not like your fault that you're wrong about something, but it is true that you've benefited from other people's suffering, that, your
It puts
impact
you in that
January
place.
6th, someone died there. It's like, too fucking bad that it's just because you're stupid. Because the reality is that you were wrong, regardless of. I'm like just kind of done having like any kind of sympathy for people who are too fucking stupid to literally think anything. I'm like,
No, but
you're done.
Right.
You're too stupid to live. Like, genuinely, you're so fucking stupid. They're so dumb.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Correct.
Exactly.
And that's my point.
And if people are
That's my
literally
point.
mentally handicapped, I'm not going to hold that against them when they're purposefully disinformed and misinformed
Like people
by
who work for Bob's
leaders
Burgers,
of the country.
that is disingenuous to say that, Doug. Mentally handicapped people are not guys who work on Bob's fucking Burgers and are literally like B-list celebrities. That motherfucker was at January 6th.
How stupid are they?
They're stupid and they're intentionally, willfully ignorant to their privilege, no matter how much they get it pushed in their
Yeah.
face, because they're bad people.
And
they're bad people.
And they
Yeah,
don't
I
deserve
mean-
and they don't deserve to be in prison for 20 years for something like this. Is all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that it's like if you
Who
want
does?
exactly if
They
you
don't deserve to get pardoned.
no.
Right.
But,
But
fucking
also,
sure.
It's like, yeah,
prison
but
is stupid.
the whole thing, it's
yeah.
like they're treasonous, this and that. It's like, well, you know what? It would
They
be
are.
great if Antifa or anyone, any sort of revolutionary thing, it's like, I'm not going to apply a double standard here, is all I'm saying. And it's like the people that are leading this, the people like Donald Trump, deserve 100 times more blame, 100 times more
100%.
punishment
Yeah.
than any person, no matter what privilege, no matter how stupid and bigoted and whatever they are. Like, it's not even close, in my opinion.
These are adult people. They
Yeah.
have responsibility. They have a responsibility. That is, they need to be held accountable. They
accountable
do these
for
things.
what?
They were going to
Property
kill
damage.
Mike Pence. They were going to kill Mike Pence. If they got a hold of any of these people, they would have killed our politicians. And you know, it's just like concessions to people being awful because they're too ignorant and selfish and cruel and racist. Fuck those people. Fuck those people. That's why America fucking sucks.
If
Is because
the
at
big
every single
crowd-
step of the way, I'm talking.
If it-
Every single step of the way, we have conceded the point to white people who don't want to be held fucking accountable for being bigots.
Oh, I didn't mean to
That's
do that.
what it is. Sorry. You guys are bigots. And you know what? This is what happens. You're held accountable. It's not just that it's not that you're too stupid. It's that you're cruel and you're racist and you're sexist and you deserve to feel like shit and you deserve to be punished, because that's how we move forward. Not saying, oh, it's not them, it's not them, it's not them, it's just the leadership. It's all of you motherfuckers. Not everyone became a Nazi. Some people helped people escape. Some people hid Jewish people in their floorboards. And some people bought that shit and did it and liked it.
Yeah. And
You know,
I'm saying
that's
I
on
don't
them.
but it's like just using that point, like they were going to kill Mike Pence. It's like, yeah, okay. And if it was a big crowd that was going to kill the CEO of Exxon, I mean, so what then? I mean, that's a thing that you think should happen, right?
I
And
think
I mean,
that those
and
are
I agree.
totally not the same. Those are not the same case. That's like a false comparison.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
what,
it's not a-
what,
it's
who
not
cares who
equivalent.
they're going to kill? I mean, is
also
it
equivalent-
murder is the problem of a political figure, or is it like that? That's just what I'm saying. It's like, they're.
It's that
I don't know.
Exxon does climate change, and these guys wanted 4 more years of rounding up immigrants at the border, letting women die in the parking lot in Texas because they're bleeding to death
Well,
because they
yeah.
can't get an abortion because of
The
these
political
motherfuckers. That's
differences.
different.
That's
What they
different.
want. They want to crush brown people under their boot. They fucking hate
Well,
black
yeah, that's-
people. They hate brown
that's
people.
the
They hate
discussion
women.
of the
They want
entire
to kill. They want to line
election.
trans people up and gun them down. That's what they want. That's what Republicans want.
Yeah,
Those motherfuckers
Yeah.
that went to January 6th, they're bad people.
yeah,
They
Yes.
deserve punishment.
and they were
Right.
completely convinced for whatever reason
because they're
that
bad
they
people.
won. Because they're bad
Because
people?
they're
No,
bad
because they're
people.
stupid.
They want to believe what they
like
want to
you
believe.
said.
No, They are intentionally doing this.
don't
There's
know.
all this kind of stuff out there. They want to believe it because they want control. They want a white supremacist dictatorship where white men have the power. That's what those people want. And
So I'm
fuck
sure.
those people.
Whether they know it or not.
The
Yes,
people
I
funneling
agree.
them in,
and
yeah,
whether they
too.
know it or not, it doesn't matter. That's the whole point. It doesn't matter if they know it or
Right.
not. They do it.
But
They
my-
believe it, and they live by it.
Yeah,
Fuck them.
yeah. My point is, I feel like the problem that we've been running into, especially with the Democratic whatever, is that we are so caught up on whether or not we're going to play by the rules that we're in the situation where we feel like we have our hands tied. And my thing is, let's get a little unethical because they're obviously not playing by the rules. So what? How
Is
do
it
we actually?
unethical to kill a Nazi? I don't think so.
I don't know, but like my thing is like if we can figure out a way to actually start to mobilize that very effective base by using the disinformation against them and like to what I mean like our problem is like the oligarchy, right? Like what we really need to do is like get the classes together.
Yeah.
Like that's the main issue.
That's the entire issue.
And like
there were people
So,
at
like-
January 6th that I would guess there was a non-zero number of people at January 6th that were Bernie supporters in 2016. That's the thing.
100%. 100%. And so like that's my
I
thing is
don't
I'm
give a
like,
shit.
okay, like to me at this point, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like I get that they're shitty people, like that's fine. I think we can still use them.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the problem is that we get into all of these like,
You
well,
still want
you know,
to
we
give them
can't-
health care.
right. Like we
Yeah,
don't
in prison, I
we just
guess.
get so caught up in like the fucking like what is it? Like the hierarchical of like well, how ethical is this? How like and then we like, oh, well, we got to cancel them because they're like not totally aligned with us on Palestine, so we can't use them.
Yeah.
And like we got to like there's always all of these little caveats on the left, and that's why we can't
Oh,
get
yeah.
together
Purity
because we just
testing.
keep fighting each other. And it's like, okay, like when are we going to just start causing chaos? That's my thing. So
Well, they're doing
That's
it
when you get
now. I mean,
yeah.
on some level, sure,
So
but
when you
not
get
like in
people,
a
not
Radical
leadership.
factions, yeah.
Right,
I was gonna
right,
say
right,
that
like-
the do nothing where they're saying, well, we can't do it because blank, that's the Democratic Party. You know, that's the entire thing.
Yeah.
The whole problem that's what from the beginning though, that's the thing. It's like we talk about January 6th, these idiots, whether they're cruel, racist too, that were no good. Of course, I mean fucking Kaya Rychik was there. They're horrible. But it's like but the result of that should have been, at the very least, Donald Trump shouldn't have been running again. You know, it's like that's like
Yeah.
the very least, and the Democrats did zero. And instead, the
Nothing.
Democrats would be very happy with just like, well, this is what you get. All of you guys are in jail for 20 years until they let Donald Trump run again, and he wins, and he pardons them. Good job. You know, it's like,
Right.
so, and then multiple people that have been pardoned have gone out and committed heinous crimes since then.
yeah. So like, what are
wow,
we
what
gonna
a
do
shock! Those
about it?
January 6th pieces of shit are pieces
Yeah.
of shit. Who would have thought that these horrible, cruel,
Crazy.
bigot racists are also pedophiles?
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought that you're like rubbing shoulders with the worst of humanity while you're doing this?
Kaya Rychik.
Fuck
Those
those.
like, of course.
I
Talk
just-
about domestic terrorism. You know, they're right there. It's like, and it's not like, I don't know. It's just the entire thing of like, you can talk about intentions, this and that, but when it's like, oh, the Democrat lines of like, you know, they ruined this institution, or, you know, oh, property damage, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's the wrong thing to focus on, no matter what. That's what
Yeah.
I've been saying. Even if they're horrible people, it's at the bottom of the list. The fact that they broke windows, the fact that a riot killed a cop there.
That was
is not
a
at the top of my
coup.
list.
That's not just a riot. This is a coup
Or
trying to
the
install
attempted
a
coup.
dictator. This is not about institutions like, our
Well, I'm not
Constitution.
saying
It's about
the coup isn't
like
what killed
going
the cop.
in and saying,
The riot
I'm going
is
to kill
what-
Mike
yeah.
Pence because he's going to certify these results.
Yeah.
And that will make Donald Trump lose. And I want a dictator. I want to fight for Hitler.
Right.
That's what I'm going to do. You know,
So when
that's
is the
like
And
next
that dictator
coup?
should not have even come close because of this. Because without that guy, what are they doing? Nothing. They're just being racists in their own. They're just being racist pedophiles at their HVAC dealership or whatever they're doing. You know, like and we tackle that with whatever comes next, just like you're talking
then-
about any other day. But the problem, of course, was at the top. It's like when you go back in time with your time machine, you don't kill all the baby Nazis. You kill baby Hitler, you know?
And no,
Yeah,
you don't
and-
kill baby Hitler. That's
Well, I'm
literally
just
an
saying,
insane
the,
thing that people say.
Yeah. But
To
also,
change the trajectory of time, at least. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to
it-
kill a baby. but
it also goes back to my point of like, okay, so basically because we have all of these people that are like, well, we went through our fair elections and you guys decided that you wanted to vote for a dictator. And so now we're going to see what happens because you voted for a dictator, rather than getting angry and, okay, he's acting like a dictator now. Like,
Yeah.
so what are we going to do about it? Like,
Yeah.
are we actually going to do something about it? Or are we just going to be like, well, I told you so.
exactly.
You know, this sucks. I
Oh
told
my
you guys
God.
so. Like, wow. Let's just see how it works out, I guess. Like, what
Yeah,
the
good luck with
what?
that. Oh my gosh, that's the worst response.
it's that's the thing that's so frustrating. It's like, do we not have like an actual like duty and responsibility as like Americans to like be
Duty.
actually fighting for the freedoms of our fellow citizens? Or are we just gonna
Yeah. That's like what
talk about it some more, I guess? I don't know.
It's like how they
Like,
times
what
have
the answer to
changed
that is.
from the ACLU, you know, defending an American Nazi Party member's right to free speech type of thing, where it's like, of course, that's an extreme example, but they would, you know. And I don't think they do any longer.
I guess, but that's actually not. I don't
That's
think.
I'm
hate
saying-
speech
about
is
the government
under free
control.
speech.
That's government control. That has nothing to do with accountability amongst your peers. You know,
No, I'm
getting
saying-
getting your shit rocked because you're a Nazi is like, that's not what the
Oh,
ACLU
yeah.
is like. That's not.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No, I'm saying
you're gonna face consequences being a Nazi, but the government can't throw you
trying
in jail
to
for
apply
it,
these
you know?
and saying, hey,
But whether
even
I
though you
agree.
feel differently, I don't want things to be bad for you. Like it doesn't in that the system just gets bad so that it's bad for you. That doesn't help anyone. Yeah, it's like, well, look at what you
Yeah.
voted for. See how this turns out. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, all these other people that didn't vote or voted for Kamala and stuff like that, that just lost, that are also in the same bracket that they are, you know, dealing with the same stuff. They also get fucked, you know. But at least maybe they'll learn their lesson, which they won't. Which they obviously
They
won't
won't.
because they
And
were
that's the thing,
able
it's
to
like,
foment
what
them into a coup on the
lessons?
Capitol.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like, I think we're past the point of learning lessons. Like, how much more
Yeah.
is it going to
Yeah.
take? I was talking to someone today. I was, what was I
Past the point of
what were we
learning
talking
lessons.
about?
That's
Like-
that's the key.
Oh, yeah. So I was talking to my friend about like how there's this cannabis farm that's for sale in Benton County. And I was like, man, if I could just find a way to like get together a deposit for that, like that would be a great like retirement plan, basically. But then I was like, but at the same time, with the way things are going, it is a matter of time before someone whispers in Trump's ear and says, hey, I think we should like really start to go after cannabis.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be
All
coming
these
from the
blue
alcohol
states.
industry and the alcohol lobby. And pretty soon the feds are going to be raiding all of the cannabis farms and all of the dispensaries and everywhere in all of these states. And like, he was like, oh, well, there's just so much money in that. I'm like, yeah, but like that is still a threat to other powers that be. So it's like
Trump administration would care that blue states are raking in tax money and that entrepreneurs are making money. He doesn't like them.
Yeah. Especially if he's getting paid out by the alcohol industry or any other vices that are like, hey, like, let's get rid of cannabis. Like, tobacco? He's are you kidding me? If they had a chance to get rid of cannabis? Absolutely. And so, like, I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? Like, maybe it's not such a good idea. Maybe that's why they're selling. Maybe they see the writing on the wall. Because, like, that's... I mean, with every other freedom that we see, like, being slowly stripped away... Like, come on. It's a matter of time. So
that's
it's
true.
Anyway, like my thoughts are just like, you guys, we gotta figure this.
It's really hard to think about doing something, though. It's like, past revolutions and kind of stuff. I guess it happens. Yeah. People do stuff all over the world, but it's like, the United States has the 4th largest military with our police.
Yeah.
It's the 4th largest military in the world. That's our police. We saw during the Black Lives Matter some of the disgusting tactics that they use, shoving old men to the ground, cracking their skulls on the sidewalk and stuff. Like, they have a lot of power. It feels really like, how could you possibly fight against this now? This is not the 1960s where you're throwing rocks at cops and they're afraid of you on the college campuses. These are cops coming in looking like they're going into like a war zone in like Afghanistan.
With
like
drones
they have like tanks. They use like all these kinds of tactics. They just arrest you and arresting you now can ruin your fucking life. Oh, it's not just like you're getting thrown in jail overnight or whatever back in the 60s and blah, 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 blah. It like ruins your life. If you have to miss a paycheck, for a lot of people, it's like, I'm fucked now. Like, I'm fucked.
You lose
like,
your
I can't,
job.
what, I have to pay thousands of dollars for a lawyer now and like all, or whatever, all of these different things. It feels very difficult to know how to be like disruptive like that. Like that is like,
I was going to say, you talk about throwing rocks at cops. That happened here in Pasco. They shot the guy to death. I mean,
it's going to require large
Bernie
amounts of
at least
people.
says, don't run as a Democrat. He said, run as an independent in the upcoming midterms. That's something that like truly take a stand and try to break this horrible two-party system that we have ourselves in. Don't run as a Democrat, community engagement, building people up that are not involved with the Democrats, that have a more progressive, party line or whatever you want to say, or value system, because that is what it's going to take. And the Democrats are not going to take us there unless they make unless they have some sort of come to Jesus moment. They're not going to
have a hard left
and
turn.
It's like, I have no expectations of them.
The come to Jesus moment should have been Trump winning a second term. And it's like, and it's crazy.
It should have been Trump winning a first term
for like 2 months. This is a nightmare.
Trump winning a first term to me. Everyone told me,
true.
Dad was like, oh, you're like overreacting and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, this is seriously like, this is like what fascist dictators, how they talk. He's a disgusting monster. And everyone, it's not that bad. Though I might understand why people voted for it. It's like, this is not good. Like, this is like, you guys, you can see what kind of person he is, and this is the kind of person he is. He says it, and you're just refuse to listen because because you want plausible deniability that you could say, oh, I just didn't think he would actually do that. It's like, no, because you just don't want to admit that you're a fucking
that's
racist.
What you want.
That's why.
Yeah.
You hate women, you hate brown people, you hate gay people. Say it with your chest. Now's the time.
Yeah.
This isn't, you're not going to get canceled anymore. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, we'll
so just say it.
For us calling you a bigot, we could probably get charged with domestic terrorism. So, use your time wisely, I guess. But and I was going to say with the and then with just being imprisoned or whatever, huge police forces, all of this, like our entire system of so-called justice, if it can,
If it can so be
called. Oh yeah, see, we haven't done enough of these.
Don't quote me on that, though.
But it's like what I was thinking too, kind of, like as a tertiary thought with that entire discussion about people being these lambs being led to slaughter, even though there's idiots or whatever.
They're like, this way? Oh, am I going this way?
Yeah, exactly. No, but just
lambs.
it's not just the immediate effects of like on an individual of being like imprisoned, being abused by the American justice system, whatever it might be, but it's the fact that like the really really difficult and like unscalable part of this that Danae is kind of getting at here too, that we need to attack, is like the information warfare that they can so easily get everyone on the side of that police state against you.
Yeah.
No matter what, like by default, like the almost like this, domestic manufacturing of consent to do this to people, where it's like it's already, you're already seeing like the fact that Mahmoud Khalil can be going through this and that there's a single person that can try to like make excuses for it is already a bad sign, where it's like there's already a groundwork in place for people to be on the side of the police state, like as a normal
it's called law
default
and
position.
order, dude.
Yeah, like, and not even
SVU.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's through propaganda and all these things, but it's like it's just so large scale, just socially, that like it's really kind of crazy. People's like default positions, default biases on these things, where it's like, well, obviously where they start off with like, well, of course the police have to be able to blank, or of course we have to be able to keep things safe. It's kind of like they talk about the border. Well, I'm not, I think that people should be coming in legally, but it's like you're already, starting, like the conversation is already so far into the reactive, like the reactionary, like right-wing thing that we're just like, I don't know, we just kind of forget that we live in a reactionary right-wing country. Out of all the it's too bad that we're one of, or the most powerful one, and of all the Western countries, probably the most reactionary, the most right-wing out of all of them.
Yeah.
By far. And it's like, that's not just like in how our government is applied, like it's the populace. It's like how we've been conditioned.
It's that, and there's like an entire media ecosystem that has been stood up around these ideals. Like, I don't know if you guys follow Matt Bernstein, but he posted an infographic last week that was like basically showing all of the different like all of the biggest podcasts in the political sphere.
Oh yeah.
And like 90%, maybe 75 if I'm being generous or not generous, was in the right wing. Like, Joe Rogan has like the most whatever, but if we're like talking about like the thought space that's being occupied, it is majority right wing, and they love to talk about how they're being silenced, they're being censored, whatever. But the reality is that like the left space is so small in the media.
Oh yeah.
And so I
and
think that
numbers.
Partially, so that absolutely has an influence on like popular thought. but also I think that it kind of gives it also, I feel like there are more people that have leftist views than they think they have, I guess, or like are more left leaning than they think they are.
When
but
you
there's
go
just not
policy
enough
by
education
policy,
out there.
Yeah,
America
it's the
Right.
whole
is
thing about
not that conservative. That's like America is not as conservative as our
Exactly.
representation in media and in our elected offices even show. Like you talk
Right.
about, there's all these cases right now in like Louisiana and Alabama, gerrymandered districts and how like voter suppression. What that actually means is it does not represent how Americans feel. That's why we don't have any gun control. 80+% of Americans believe in universal background checks. That's not done. Healthcare for all, extremely popular idea. Raising the minimum wage, a lot of these things, it's more like in the 60% range of Americans agreeing on these issues. It was up to 70-some% reproductive rights, people in favor of women having that, which is incredible. That's like hundreds of millions of people. And that does not
agreeing on anything.
When it comes to our politics, that is not in any way like playing out. That does not represent. We are not represented
Right.
Because of
by
I think
our
it's-
representatives.
that entire
I
foundation. Is
Yeah.
not that. It is not what the people see on policy. And like you're saying, like maybe they need to be more educated on it. It's just like, or that people don't have the time of day and they don't have any influence. The people don't, because we're living in an oligarchy and we
Right.
have
We're
been
run by oligarchs.
but like how it's, you look at policy by policy, you can get people to look so much more, progressive than of course than what we have in
Than
place.
party by party
Yeah.
or whatever.
But like
Yeah.
but it's like, there's that famous examples of like comparing surveys of whether people support like the Affordable Care Act versus Obamacare. More people support that, or just individual policy positions within the Affordable Care Act and how insanely popular they were. And it's like, but the Affordable Care Act isn't, that's besides the point. I don't really think the Affordable Care Act is great. It's better than nothing.
It was a stepping stone.
Yeah, it was huge. It saved me. That's
and the
for
Democrats
sure.
were like, we're done.
Yeah, we're done, and we're not going to
need
set
to
it
do
in
anything
stone,
else.
and we'll let it roll back.
I think sorry, I'm going to interrupt you.
What was the name of that author before I forget too? What that you said with that infographic?
Not an author. He is
Or
a podcaster.
podcaster.
His name is Matt Bernstein. I
Okay.
can send you his
Okay.
his info.
I
He's a
just wanted to
YouTuber
see
as
that.
well.
Okay.
He's like a Gen Z, very queer. Love him so much. Very left.
Oh, okay,
He's
I
great.
see.
I think that also like going back
A bit
to
fruity with Matt Bernstein.
Yep, that's
okay.
him.
Okay. All right.
shout
well,
out
shout
Matt
out.
Bernstein.
Yeah. He'll appreciate
like
it.
I think that the thing about that right-wing media sphere is that they've also done a good job of convincing the people that believe differently than them that we are not many. And that's the thing. Like there's it's a weird like thing. Like they make us feel very isolated. Like we don't have the numbers, but we do have the numbers. So like
And-
how can we make that work?
It's easy to find any scapegoat that you could choose anything when people are struggling, which we
Right.
are.
Yeah.
When 40, 50%
That's how
of people live
fascism
paycheck to paycheck,
really
it's like, oh
gets
man,
in.
that is a desperate population that is ripe for indoctrination of any kind,
Yeah.
that it's like you can really
Vulnerable
point
people.
to whatever you want, and people, if especially
saying-
if you grow up in America, it's a racist fucking country.
Yeah.
It's a sexist country. That those are very, very, very easy things to
Yeah.
point onto, especially when the opposition, the Democrats, are like, fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
It's like very easy when you have no opposition party
and
really
half
giving
of
you
them
any
are also
pushback.
racists. So,
I mean, half of them are also
well, in the
Republicans.
Senate,
Swear to
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
We need to find a sexier Jesus, and I think that's the key there. So
It'd be Jesus.
if we can find a
Hey.
sexier white Jesus,
Oh,
because he has to be white.
yeah.
The thing is,
to
like,
get across
Sorry,
to
he
these
has to
people.
be.
if we're gonna talk about systems of oppression and how you have to work within them, then like maybe we need to go even deeper into the systems of oppression and actually like utilize those pieces of oppression to like start to dismantle things.
Well, there's that age-old
Dismantle the-
leftist infighting right there. Yeah, about
Exactly. That's the point.
I think you have to
like,
what is it, like break down the master's house
yeah,
using his tools,
using
or
his
what is
own
that?
tools. Yeah.
yeah, like so if we want to break down white supremacy, how do we become white supremacists enough to do that?
Well, you already recognize that if you're a white person in America, you already have it. Like,
Exactly.
you already have the supremacy. So it's like you just utilize like your position
Right. Like how do you start to weaponize people's racism like against
against Elon Musk. No,
yeah. That's
bring
what
it
I'm
all
saying.
back. It's like
That's
Yeah.
we'll
I've
just
literally
start
said
with
like
kicking South Africans out.
when are we that's I said that people were like holy shit. I was like yeah, let's get rid of him.
yeah,
Like deport that guy.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
yeah.
He's
Oh,
not
for
even
sure.
American. I hate
He
immigrants.
overstayed his visa at
I'm
one
talking
point.
about
yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
He is American.
They had that
He's a citizen.
that H-1B visa
This
infighting
doesn't
on the
change
right.
the fact that he's an immigrant. He's still an immigrant, even if he's a citizen now.
yeah.
They've been deporting people. They've been holding people
Oh,
that
yeah.
have green cards, that have documentation, that are able to be here.
That
So what
Venezuelan
difference does it make?
gang, it was like picking up Latino men with tattoos. Like
Yeah.
that was what they did.
And they, like,
it was
fucking
like
shaved
I'm
their
like scared
heads.
for Humby.
And,
Like my
yeah.
brown boy with a bunch of tattoos is gonna get caught up with some ICE bullshit because of some everybody literally on the planet besides me has tattoos. So
Yeah.
like that's not a distinguishing factor, but I'm not a brown guy either, so
Right.
Well, there was
so anyways.
yeah, it's just like I mean, what was it? Okay, green card holder from New Hampshire, quote, interrogated at Logan Airport and detained. Fabian Schmidt, white guy from Germany, looks like just looks like a he'd be in a fucking Shutterstock image, you know, just the smiling green card holder. New Hampshire man with a green card was detained by immigration officers at Logan Airport, is being held by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in Central Falls, Rhode Island. They're unsure of why he is being. His family said they are unsure of why he is being held. They said he has recently renewed green card and no active issues in court. He had been visiting Luxembourg and flew back to the U.S. His partner had gone to pick him up at Logan Airport and waited 4 hours before calling authorities. It was just said that his green card was flagged, said Astrid Sr., his mother. She said she didn't hear from her son directly until Tuesday when she learned he had been hospitalized. Sr. described Schmidt being, quote, violently interrogated at Logan Airport for hours and being stripped naked, put in a cold shower by two officials, and being put back into a chair. They pressured him to give up his green card. She said he was placed on a mat in a bright room with other people at the airport with little food or water, suffered from sleep deprivation, and was denied access to his medication for anxiety and depression. He hardly got anything to drink, and then he wasn't feeling very well and collapsed, said Sr. He was transported by ambulance to Mass General Hospital. He didn't know it at the time, but he also had influenza. Like, and this just...
hell yeah.
And they can't even give a reason other than, well, his green card was flagged. So they just
what does that
tortured a
mean?
guy.
You know, all of those savings that Doge has gotten us, good thing, because the United States government is about to get their ass sued hard. Like, some
All
of these
over the
people are
place.
really going to win some cases. Obviously, I'm being very, like, glib about this. That's absolutely disgusting. Truly
Yeah.
horrific Nazi bullshit that they're doing. It's so fucking gross. But
And what's-
goddamn, I really hope some of these people get their day in court and get to spank the U.S. government and win millions. And I'm glad to pay my taxes to something like that.
And I just wish that it was like they'd approach this like how the fucking police want to approach like criminals when they're doing this. It's like, okay, so you got the low level guys that interrogated this guy that tortured this man for no reason. Of course, they should be in court. They should be going to jail for whatever. I mean, even if they lose their job, who knows? They work for ICE.
Yeah, like isn't
but it's like,
that,
but it's like if only
very
it could
illegal in the
you
States?
could work your way up from that, where it's like, all right, now you get them to turn. Okay, how did this policy work? Turn on your superior and stuff. It's like all this leadership stuff, where it's like these aren't the whole
I'm sure
bad
the Attorney
apples.
General,
The bad
Trump's
apples.
Attorney General's really
spoil
going
the
to
whole
prioritize
bunch.
that.
Exactly. It's like it sucks that it's like this isn't an anomaly. This is what they want to happen.
But you know what?
This is ICE.
There's also guys that's like, yeah, my wife got deported and I would still vote for Trump. So
Yeah,
they're fucking
true.
lost cause motherfuckers
Yeah,
over there.
but at least
I don't
And the Attorney
understand.
General's office, there's like the courts are taken over by Republicans. The Attorney General is some, you know what? I'll say it. She's a bimbo, okay? She's a hoe. She's a thought. She's a dumb blonde. I'll say it. I'll be a misogynist. I don't care. She's
well,
a
I mean,
bitch.
even with in
And
terms of lawsuits,
she's not gonna
if you could
do
start
anything.
just flipping up. All right, okay, now we're also suing this and work your way up
Okay.
because it's like I want like retribution or
The ACLU 's
accountability
on
for
it, I'm
these
sure.
people. And it's like,
Also-
and nothing happens. The only reason that this is even a story and that something could happen is because they have enough means, to like hire an attorney. His partner is a cardiologist. They've got attorneys. They've been working with the German consulate in hopes to have him
Yeah.
released on bail. This was a month ago, so I mean, I could look up what happened, but
That's
it doesn't
crazy.
matter. Like it's like even if it was like, well, my bad, and these guys got fired or whatever, even if they like those guys like did jail time or something, it's like we're not done here. Like
Yeah.
something.
Well, the thing
there's
too
a reason for
is
this.
Yeah, and the thing that this actually leads us into another can of worms, and we are so over on time, is that there's been discussion from like the corporate law areas, specifically about how little they're doing and how little they're saying about the government, like just overstepping.
Yeah.
Like the very, very big law firms are keeping very mum about things that they should be like, hey, why is this happening?
Cowards.
Those
Yeah.
would be the ones that would be actually suing the US
Yeah.
if they were going to
have the
do
means.
anything.
That's like
And they're
the
not
ACLU.
doing it.
the ACLU
So-
would be a good one to support right now. That's what
Yeah.
they bring a lot of lawsuits. They do a lot of that kind of stuff, but
Which
that
is
sad to
great.
hear, but
Which is great, but like we're also talking about like, those like the very, very big deal law firms that are just
Yeah.
they're not.
That could have the means
Yeah,
to
it's like-
actually like not just to get something to the Supreme Court to maybe enact change like the ACLU could, but to like bring accountability to the individuals involved in like perpetrating
Yes,
this
100%.
and creating policy to do that. It's like, man, you would need
Like the
like
ones
a
that would
big
be
team of lawyers.
the ones that would get hired by the rich people that
Yeah.
are trying to sue,
Sure.
right? Like those firms are not they're not saying anything, they're not making statements, they're not taking on clients like that. They're staying out of it.
Also,
And so that's a little worrying.
on top of all
To me,
this, free Luigi.
way to use your privilege.
Right?
I was gonna say way earlier. I forgot your when you guys were talking about like and how or Natalie was saying like there's these moments or these issues that people like come together on, and it's like it shows how it's not reflected by the actual systems that be, let alone like laws and the body politic. But it's like but like a great example of that we've already like who knows what's happening with it was Luigi Mangione, when it was like all these people, you'd come across like regular run-of-the-mill people who are like, well, yeah, I mean, he was a healthcare CEO. I mean, I get it. It's like people were like on his side you know,
Yeah.
on the side of the alleged, shooter. Because I don't know if Luigi did it. We'll see. And he's
I
still
hope he
in
did.
fucking jail. Well,
That'd be sick if he was the one that did it. He's so hot.
Yeah.
To be like, if that was the
True.
guy that did it, I'm like,
Yes.
hell yeah, that's
He's
like
a good.
story.
Yeah, let's just
like
stick
a fairy tale.
with one and have an actual figure. Yeah. But it's just like,
Talk about a figure.
yeah. You see that 6-pack? Good lord. Yeah, but
Crazy.
but yeah, it's like people come together on this stuff at the class level too. Yeah, when it
Yeah.
affects
And
you.
the Democrats are like, yeah, let's not make healthcare our issue.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some bullshit democracy.
Democrats
something.
literally turn around and be like, "You're
Let's pretend
disgusting
we're
for
gonna
celebrating
forgive
this
your
guy."
student loans.
It's like instead of just thinking, "Hey, why are people celebrating this guy?" They're like, "You're disgusting. That's gross."
Even
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
Elizabeth
because you're
Warren
worth
said-
$10 million.
Elizabeth Warren said
Thing I don't
murder,
wanna say.
obviously wrong, but people have a breaking point.
Yeah.
I said, what do you expect?
There you
I'm
go.
like, pretty much. Yeah.
Exactly. And instead, all of these things like that, things like the recent, you're saying Bernie and AOC were out there getting their message out, and it's like, it's not an election campaign rally. It's nothing. And it's 36,000 people showing up for a political rally for these people that aren't running for national office right now because they want to be heard and the Democratic Party is not hearing them out. One of them isn't even a Democrat. It's like, it's all these progressives here. Good Lord. Oh, but,
Well, I think we made up for our last week. We didn't do a podcast, and now we went 25 minutes over. So I think we can.
yeah, I'll just end with one minor law that's being enacted right now. It shows here, I just read this. Trump orders all children born under Biden to be renamed after Confederate generals. Oh no, this is
saw
The
that.
Onion. Yeah. Oh, and I saw. Did you see this
Don't kill
one
yourself.
trending?
Go sit in the
Oops.
middle of the road and let a car
I
run
accidentally
over
hit
you.
that. But this trending one, spray painted penis, the only thing holding Cybertruck together.
Yeah. I love The Onion.
Yes. So at least there's that. We could tell you, when there's horrible things, they could be fake articles that just reflect how horrible things really are. Because, oh yeah, Trump's president and Elon's running the government. By the way. By the way.
By the way.
But,
Come on!
oh, well, it's too quiet. Yeah. And the only way to stop it? No. But,
A little Luigi.
yeah. That's how I should get some, just some little Luigi sound bites. I have a bunch of, man, today was another day. I got shout out, to my day off. I lounged really hard today. And then was slightly late to the podcast because I just threw things together at the very end. So,
Hell yeah.
but I lounged hard. It was great.
Word.
And shout out to RM Brown, our Lord and Savior.
Shut up!
Annabella.
Just pretend that this one is shout out.
Shut up!
Yeah, my reaction to that. Yeah,
Are you
always love
pro-slavery,
that one.
Natalie? What the fuck are you talking about?
but to
But only
everyone,
if they did January 6th.
to everyone. Yeah, are you pro-slavery? Well,
You know what? I could be convinced.
it's like, well, where were you on January 6th?
Where have you been, Natalie?
You know what? Actually,
Where
I do
have
remember
you
I was
been,
at your
Natalie?
house.
Oh yeah, that's
Because-
right. Yeah, you were staying.
And-
You were staying there in
I
January.
was there doing some stuff with
No.
Dad and
That's right.
his
Yep.
wife. And they were like, who cares? And I'm like, oh my God, there's like a coup happening. And they're like,
I was
so
just,
what?
like,
We're like cleaning this house out.
Stuck at work,
And I
being
was
like, what? This is happening right now? I was like just walking back and forth to the garage because nothing was happening. Just like, well, a day in Twitter infamy, that's for sure. But for everyone out there, just remember, at the end of the day,
Nothing like a good New York slice.
so...
Truly.
Okay.
Truly.
Bitches leave.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Okay.
Oh, and shout out to
Bye.
Annabelle. I said I'd shout her out. So, okay.
Annabella.
Okay.
All right.
All right, bye.
All right.
Bye.